Today I want to talk about something that's really important when we're talking about decluttering and goal setting, and that's taking the time to establish a really clear baseline. This is especially valuable if you're choosing any of the goal setting options I chose yesterday, even if it's choosing not to set goals. Having a really good baseline of where you are now is going to be really important. It helps us to see progress, even if it's really small progress, and any progress is good. It helps us to know where we started. And honestly, the best way to do this, even when we're feeling the least confident and most vulnerable, is taking photographs, and now is the best time to do that. Photographs and reflections. This process is about acknowledging exactly where we are now. It isn't about dwelling, it isn't about judging yourself or wondering why you've got to this point, and it's definitely not about shame. You might not like where you are now with your home and your clutter, I understand that, but I strongly think that your future self will thank you later if you do this step. And this is the step I missed and really wished I had. The beauty of doing a process like this is that they're for your eyes only. Your photographs, your reflections are for you. They're not for sharing. Even with clients, I don't ask them to share them with me. I don't need to know. But what is really helpful is that it's knowing that they have them and me prompting that later on. Have you had a look at? Have you reflected recently and reviewed that? A really lovely process to go through. So I say take photos, take lots of them, take them in every room, various cupboards and drawers. It doesn't have to be every single cupboard and drawer. It can just be a few key ones, because to be honest, if you've got one or two, you'll have a feel for what the rest are going to look like. You don't need lots and lots of the same sort of thing. Take pictures of surfaces, take pictures of floors, under the bed, anywhere where you have clutter building up. And again, these are not for spending a lot of time on, they are for almost archiving to come back to later. The reason I say photos is because when we're working on decluttering, we touch on lots of different areas at the same time. So although you're thinking you're going to work on a particular area, say maybe the kitchen sides, but what you find as time goes on, particularly with decluttering, and as you start to build your decluttering muscles, as they call them, as you start to make more decisions, you tend to then automatically start to filter into other areas of the home. So if you have all of your photos at the beginning, then it means that you won't have missed anything, the small changes in other areas that maybe you wouldn't notice if you hadn't taken photographs of them. So the key here is to take photos of your own and shared spaces. Don't take photos of your other half's spaces. That's not for you to, this is the focusing on the areas that you are working on. So if you're on the journey with somebody else, quite often we're not on the journey with somebody else, we're starting this process on our own. If they are, then they can take photos of their own space for their own reference later on. But this is about photos of your own space and the areas that are shared, say within the family. And then step 2 is thinking about reflections. Again, not spending a lot of time, and it's not about being critical. It's about, how does your place make you feel, place and space make you feel right now? How does it affect you emotionally? How does it affect practical things like cleaning, finding things? Do you have visitors in your home? You may well not at this point, but it might be something that you'd like to do in the future. And how does it work practically for you day to day? How easy is washing up? How easy is cooking? And all of those sorts of things as well. This is all really useful information. But what I'd like you to do at the end of the reflections is thinking about how you'd like to feel during your journey or at the end of your journey, although saying that the journey is never over, but on the process of your journey, is how would you like to feel? Would you like to feel more relaxed in your home? Would you like cleaning to be easier? Would you like to be able to invite certain people over? And you might even want to write the names of those people. And being able to find things and being able to put your fingers things straight away, finding things nice and easy, rather than having to spend hours and hours looking for something and making a lot of mess in the process. Time spent at this process of establishing a really good baseline is really key, and it's time really well spent, in that you just can't put a value on being able to see that progress. I very occasionally find videos or photos of the children that happen to have the clutter in the background, and it really does take me back to that time and helps me to see the progress that I've made, because sometimes on a day-to-day basis we forget where we've been and the journey that we've been on. So it is really useful, and I would encourage you, if you can. If you can't, that's absolutely fine. You may well, like me, be able to look back and reflect on it, and have those memories of how it used to be. Just having a look at my notes, make sure I've covered everything. But yes, if you haven't seen yesterday's post about the goal setting and how you goal set, please do. If you do need any help or advice, do let me know. I'm happy to help wherever I can in terms of goal setting and establishing what works for you. Equally, same with baseline. If you've got any questions, do let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. And yes, I'm really enjoying this process of getting to know you and starting this declutter journey with you as well.